Okie dokie, here we go again. I am driving home much later than I anticipated to be driving home. That's okay, because I am still going home. Got some fun stuff to talk about today. A lot of things going on. My mind is kind of racing with all of the things, which is honestly kind of an exciting place to be in. For starters, I forgot my jacket in the office, which is unfortunate. I forgot my lunch also in the office, which is also unfortunate. I'd already eaten it, so that's not necessarily the problem. The problem is that I've got containers that I now need to wash or clean or whatever that are just chilling under my desk. But at any rate, I got the information back from the animators about that potential project and where we're going with that. So I got the character design back, and I got the what do they call it, storyboard for the first couple pages back, and that was super cool. Trying to think, so like next steps there would be like, am I going to move forward with doing an animatic? Am I going to move forward with getting more characters? Because that's kind of where it sits, is you get more characters, or you get more you get characters, and I think the rest of the storyboard, and the next step would be the big 10-minute animation. Oh, and the pitch deck. So I'm actually kind of excited about the pitch deck. I wasn't at first. I was like, this isn't really what I wanted, but it's at least close enough to what I want and gets me relatively close to what I want. And so the idea here is that we would move forward with the rest of the character designs and a pitch deck, see how much they want for all of that, also see how much they want for the 10-minute animation. Like, they weren't shy in saying that they want a decent chunk of change for it, which, I mean, it's a lot of work, so I understand it costing a decent amount of money too. My camera is being weird, and the fact that I can't really see myself. Well, you can kind of see me, I don't really know. Anyway, so yeah, exciting stuff coming there. Got the character design back, got the storyboard back. Gonna see what they do, what they offer, how much they're wanting, etc., etc. They really seem to be enjoying the project. I seem to be enjoying the project. It's nice to have things going on. So like, I have my new book, which is in the hands of my editor, which is very exciting. I joined a reading, well, it's technically a writing group, but like we critique each other's work every 48 hours. So every 48 hours we cycle through somebody else. I still have my badge on. We cycle through somebody else and read their work. And so today was the start of my day, and I got like 60 comments on my first chapter of the book that I hope to publish sometime next year, that book being If Ghosts Could Cry. And that feels pretty good. I haven't read through them all yet, and people of course are sharing their opinions one way or another. And like, if I'm being honest, in my mind that book is done, and so I don't know that I plan to like take very much of their advice to heart, which in a way kind of feels like a waste of both their time and mine. Like, what's the point of me asking for their opinion if I'm not going to consider it? So I don't know, that's the weird thing I always run into with these like reading groups and stuff, is that I'm so against sending out unpolished work that I almost always only send it out after it's been gone through by an editor. But then by the time I've gone through usually 2 cycles of editing plus my own 2 cycles of editing, so 4 cycles of editing, by the time I've gone through all of that, I've gotten the book to a point where in my head it's done, and I don't want to pick it back up. I don't want to do anything else with it. And so at that point, like, it's kind of pointless to even share it. Like, we'll see like the kind of stuff that they say, and like whether or not I'm going to be like, oh man, I need to do that. But like, that would be the driving factor of me doing changes is they have to excite me. And I mean, it's the same way with when I work with my editors too. Whenever I work with my editors, I'm only going to make the change if it's a change that excites me personally. Like, I'm not going to make a change just because I feel obligated to do so. It has to make sense for the story. It has to make sense to me as the person who's telling the story. And so with all of that considered, it's kind of difficult for me to just be like, yeah, I'm gonna share my work and thank you guys so much for your feedback. And I feel bad for sharing my work and getting their feedback, because these people like spent a lot of time making lengthy comments on these things, and it feels not cool wasting people's time for a project that in my head is already completed. And so I don't know, we'll see. It might be a good way to get people interested in the book, and like when it comes to be my turn again to share, like what will I give to them then? I don't know that I'm going to just keep feeding them chapter after chapter of this book to see what they think of it. Like, I don't want to have them read the whole book and just be like, all right, well, these are our mountains of thoughts, but like I don't know what else to share with them, because like I don't like sharing my unpolished work. That's what I call it. Like when it's on first draft form, like at least has to be first draft, first edit before I really want to start sharing it out to the world. And these pieces have gone well past that point and are now in like the completion phase. Like in my head, they are done. And so why in the world would I keep messing around with something that's done? And so it's exciting to get all this, all these eyes on the content and get all these people reading it and getting their feedback. That feels really good, but I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. Like I said, I don't foresee myself getting enough major feedback to where I'm like, oh yeah, this needs to change, like this needs to happen. And that's the kind of situation that I find myself in with that, at least. With my brother Kanan, my other project that is in the works that the editors are supposed to be, or that my editor is supposed to be going through, I was hoping that he was going to get me a significant chunk before Thanksgiving break, but I only got like the first 6 chapters, and like the juicy stuff doesn't really start happening that soon in the book, and so he doesn't really have a lot of opinions on the book at this point, which nor should he. And so that was kind of like, it was nice to have it, it was nice to see his thoughts here and there, but I'm waiting for the real juicy stuff where he's like, oh my gosh, this is this, this is that, this is this. And so we'll see what happens and whether or not we get some good feedback from him. I'm really hoping to be done with that process from his point of view by the end of this year. And I signed up to work with my other editor in January because she was busy until January. And I don't honestly know, like, you guys can't see anything. I don't honestly know if I am going to, I don't know if I'm going to use her or not. Like, part of me is thinking that I probably won't, just because she is a lot more expensive than the editor I'm using now. She is my line editor, and the other guy is my content editor. And so the content editor is going to have to double down and do my line editing and my content editing, which is going to take him longer. And then I would send it to her, and I don't know at that point if it's worth it. I'll have to see when I get it back from him, like how significantly of a content change happens. Like if the content changes pretty significantly from the current draft to post editor 1 draft, then yeah, I will probably still send it to her, just because I know, like in my head, that the changes have been significant. But in the event that the changes are insignificant, which I doubt would be the case, they're almost always significant after the first round of edits, I probably will just stay with the book where it's at and not use the second editor. So we'll see there. I'm, like I said, very excited to see what he brings out of it and what he thinks of it. That was my alarm going off to remind me to get milk and to pick up a package from a neighbor. Not necessarily a neighbor, but like someone who lives near-ish to me. They got a package that I had ordered, and like my address was on there completely correct and my name was on there completely correct. This person happened to find me through Facebook and be like, hey, did you order a package from la-di-la-di-la-di-da? And I was like, yeah, I sure did. And they're like, well, it's on my porch. And I was like, well, daggum. So I am now going to have to drive to this person's house, which isn't super far from my house, and pick up the package that was misdelivered to their house. And I also need to get milk. I need milk. And there was something else as I was getting into my car, driving to work or doing whatever it was I was doing that I thought of, and I was like, oh, I need some of that too. I don't remember what it was now, and so that's just going to have to wait. I think I'm going to need to buy more chicken eventually because I only have 1 or 2 chicken breasts left, and I have the intentions of making a very large amount of salads with them. So I bought enough salads to make 5 salads, but if I only have enough chicken breasts for 3 salads, then I gotta figure out what to do with these other 2 salads, and that would just be literally buying more chicken, making more chicken, and adding them to the salad. So that was the summary of my reminder alarm. Why do I have alarms going off? If you guys could even hear it, like I'm over here explaining it like it's a whole big thing, and you guys may not even have heard the alarm go off, and you might just be like, what is this guy talking about? Anywho, going back to books. So yeah, I got 2 potential books that I'm hoping will come out next year. I haven't had a release at all this year, and that feels like a big ol' kick in the shin. And I have to remember that like I did record an entire audiobook. I did write 2 full books. I just didn't release anything, and so it feels like I didn't accomplish anything. But hopefully I will be able to refocus, get both these books on the market next year, get some better backing, get some better marketing behind them, and then just start moving forward from there. Because that's another thing that like honestly gets kind of disparaging, is just like releasing things into a void of nothingness. Like I can only do that so much before I feel like I'm wasting my time. And like I love the stories that I'm writing, I love the stories that I'm telling, but like what's the point of writing and telling these stories if no one's going to read them? And so that kind of imposter syndrome, if you will, is really starting to sink in, where it's just like nobody cares about your books, nobody wants to read your books, and so why are you still writing them? And that doesn't feel good. So hopefully I can start turning that around and find an audience for my books and get people reading them, get people who care about them and appreciate them for what they are. And that would be a great boost in my confidence. Like, I don't need to be the next Brandon Sanderson or the next Stephen King or anything like that, but if I can at least have handful of people who read my books and appreciate them, that would be pretty good. And like I say that because I don't want to discredit the people that I currently have. Like I do have loyal people who read my books present tense, and I am so very grateful for them and I appreciate them a lot. But like obviously we're all striving for something bigger and better. I mean, that's what we want, is we want bigger and better. And obviously the goal is to be able to work full-time off of writing and take that and just run with it. But it's going to be a very long time before I can do that. And it's hard not to feel like it's never going to happen, because it is such a daunting goal and such a daunting task, and I have to convince myself like that the law of averages will work in my favor. Because if on average, and this is something that Brandon Sanderson does in his teachings that really helps picture things out for me, but if there's 100 writers in this world and only half of them actually finish the project that they're planning to write, that already puts you at a better margin of potential success than the 100 people who started out this journey. And then if only half of those people go through the editing process and actually have their book completely edited and completed, then that puts you in like 2 tiers of a better place than where you were against most everyone else. And so then from there, If you're one of the only people who gets the book, publishes or finishes the book, edits it fully, and puts it out for publishing, and maybe only 10 people did that. So right then and there, you're in the 10th percentile of the 100 people who set out with this writing journey. And like, of course, it's a lot more of a global thing. Like, there's a lot more than 10 or 100 writers out there in this world, but like, I went to a conference where they said there was well over 1 million books published independently last year. And if that's the kind of competition, like, how do you stand out against that? How do you get noticed? And like, honestly, that's a lot of noise. Like, there's 1 million books being published, sure, but like, I don't need 1 million readers. I really only want like 10,000. If I get 10,000, which is a fraction of the population of the city that I work in, if I can get 10,000 people, I would be good. I would be good for life. And like, people have that just in followers on social media alone. And so I really need to keep my focus, keep my head up, believe in myself, believe in the process, and just keep going until something finally clicks. And when it does, be happy that it did and be ready for what follows. And I feel like I've got so much going on. Like, I've got the animation project going on, I've got the books still going, I'm probably going to take a voice acting class next year with Steve Bloom, which I'm super excited about. And like, I am doing so much more than the average person. Why isn't it being fruitful? Like, why do I feel like I'm just spinning my wheels here? And that is the feeling that is truly draining. And I feel like part of the problem is I feel the same way like in my working life. I feel like I'm just spinning my wheels in work. So to spin your wheels at work and then spin your wheels personally, like, to a degree you're expected to spin your wheels in your personal work. Like, creativity is a lot of wheel spinning until you finally gain some traction. And I'm still incredibly young at the game, but I also acknowledge the fact that I ain't getting any younger, and I'm just slowly but surely needing to get to that turning point in life where I stop doing all these creative, fun things and start looking at life for what it's supposed to be, or what people presented was it supposed to be. Like, I am not at all following into the pressures of life and what people tell me life is supposed to be, but to the same end, I do want something out of life. And so to try and to try and balance both of those things is very difficult. And it would be nice if everything was just wrapped up in a nice little bow, and like, at the age of 30 I have some significant following, and I can then move on to the life portion of life without feeling like I'm missing out on something. And so yeah, just really trying my best to do something there. I am trying to find this person's house who has my package, so we will see. I think I found them. Maybe? Nope, I passed it. Alright. Well, I now know which one it was, because I found one number and I found a different number, and I think that the one number I found was the one, or the one that I didn't find was the one. But anyway, gonna do this little loop-de-loo, and I'm gonna get my package, and I gotta go get milk. Don't you guys let me forget to get milk. And talk about creative stuff and trying to pursue a creative career. It's not easy, and there's a reason why not everyone does it. And so that is just something that we need to accept. I'm going to try and get this package off of this porch real quick and hope that I don't get attacked by a dog. I just scraped my car though. That was awesome. Alright, I'll be right back, y'all. Wish me luck. Going on an adventure today. I'm gonna leave my car running. don't know how far this can go. It's interesting that she got this photograph. It's like nobody's home. How did she even know? Well, I picked it up. And honestly, this doesn't feel like all of it either. Let's see here. Yeah, it's got my name on it though. All right. Well, I survived that adventure. I've got the package. Cover up this. Got the package. You guys can't even see it. All right. Now I gotta go get Well, we're back in business. I don't know what happened to my mic, but it turned off at some point in time. I am getting milk, which I said that I was going to do, and I picked up the package, which I said I was going to do, and we're going to keep going at our creative adventures until they succeed, because that's the only choice. Yeah.